Welcome back everyone to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. I do want to warn you all that here in the next few episodes, things are going to get a little bit weird and a little bit dicey, I guess so to speak. I didn't really have much of the front end planned out and I scrapped what I did have previously, so it was kind of flying off the seat of my pants. But in this episode, we go ahead and I'd explain to you guys what our package structure is going to be. We also start building out our main front page or our main landing page, along with some global styles and things like that. So let's go ahead and hop into VS Code and get to coding. One last thing that I do want to talk about here in this episode is kind of the package structure that we're going to be following. So we're going to be doing kind of like an in-between like a quote-unquote enterprise approach and like an intermediate approach is what some people call it. So we're going to need a few folders. So the first folder that we want is to make an assets folder. So this is going to be primarily for our images and our styles. These are going to be global images and styles. So this is where we put our logos and things like that, which let me go ahead and pull these logos over right now. So now in our assets, you can see our Twitter logos is just the poorly drawn Twitter logos with an F inside of it. Please don't sue me. The next folder that we're going to need is a folder called components. These are going to be components for the entire application. So if they're shared by more than one page, this is going to be where they go. Next, we need a data folder. So a new file called data, new folder called data. This is going to be shared data across the entire application. Once again, we're going to need a new folder. We are going to call this features. This is where the bulk of our application is actually going to go. This is, for example, where all the components for maybe our login page or whatnot's going to go. There is one, we might go ahead and make some custom hooks. So we'll go ahead and put hooks down, and we will also need some pages. Pages is going to be where our actual home screens are. So if I go ahead and new folder, pages. So for example, our landing page where our sign up and our registration is, that's where that will go. Our home page, our person page, our follow page, things of that sort. That's where those will go. We will need a Redux app or a Redux folder. So this will kind of just store the global states, the stores, the slices, things like that. And finally, we'll have services. These are going to primarily call API services for us. And we will also have a utils. Although some of these might get deleted, and this is an adaptation of some of the enterprise things that I've seen. So don't be surprised if I decide to delete some of this stuff, but I'm going to try to keep my code as clean as possible. And while I try to develop this React application, I'm probably going to go ahead and hide everything other than what I need exactly. Now that we've got our basic application set up, it's time to go ahead and start building up some of the actual components, the pages and things like that. At this point, I'm kind of half winging it, half not winging it. So we'll kind of see where things go. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out some things as well. And as we can see here on our page, we already have it all going. So let's go ahead, and first thing I want to go ahead and do is set up our first public page and set up some actual global CSS as well, because we're going to need some of that. First, I'm going to go ahead and go into our pages and make a new file. And I'm going to call this home.tsx. Not Texas's, home.tsx. And inside here, we're going to say RFCE A. Let me double check that we have Emmet installed. So we actually need to go ahead and install our code snippets. So ES7 React code snippets right here. So install that. We might as well also install the ES7 Redux snippets, because why not? We're probably going to use Redux here. Okay. We also need Emmet. I'm not sure why I can't find the right Emmet, so I guess we're not going to use that. But we should at least have the ES6 tools now. So now if we say RFCE and we want RFACE for a arrow function, we're also going to say react.fc because this is going to be a TSX. We're going to default or export const home RFCE. There we go. So now inside here, our div is just going to have a class name equal to home container. And then in here, we'll have our home information. We're not going to have anything special inside of our home container. So let's go ahead and just make a quick home.css. New file. .css. We need to import this, so also import /home.css, like so. And then what we're going to do is I also want a global CSS, so go ahead and make a new file, global.css. And inside here, we're going to have a dot background color class, or actually we'll say bg -color class, and here we'll have background -color is equal to $, or not $, F5 F5 F5, which is sort of like an off-white, although that doesn't seem like the right color. That seems like a pink. That is the correct one. So let me double check a color real quick. We're going to use this off-white color for the background. So now inside of home.tsx, we're also going to import /assets/global.css. And in here, we're going to have class name this and also bg color, I believe. Yep, bg-color, like so. Some other things that we'll need for global CSS, or for the, I guess it should probably be inside the index.css maybe, or let me think about how this would be. I'll just put it in global CSS. I'm going to say star, and this is going to be border, or actually sizing, or box sizing, be border box. And we're going to import this into our app.tsx. Import, and this is going to be /assets/global.css. And hopefully that should apply to all of our assets. So now back in home CSS, we need to do a little bit of work on our actual home container. So .home-container. And inside of home container, we're just going to have a quick width of 100%, a quick height of 100%. And of course, we already have our other stuff. So now what we can do is inside of app.tsx, we can import home from pages/home. And now instead of here, we'll have our home page. So we'll say home. Eventually we will have our routing and everything. But right now we just don't have any routing. So I am going to make one small change inside of our index.tsx. I'm actually going to bring in the root or the global CSS in here as well and make sure this is all good. So I'm going to say global import /, and let's see, this is going to be an assets/global.css. We're going to add a little bit more in here. So we already have star, we want border box, but we also want to go ahead and import our Google fonts. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those. We have our Google fonts. We also want to go ahead and say HTML, body, and root. Whoops. And root, and this should say root. We want margin 0. We want padding 0. And we want height 100%. And width 100%. Now, fingers crossed, we should be able to see home. So I'll do an H1 home. And we should be able to see it being the way we want it. H1 home. It seems, let's take a look at what the element looks like. So Our HTML is the full page. That's fine. So there's still some stuff here, some margin that we had to fix, but we'll fix that up in a little bit. Overall, we got everything working the way we should. And I believe, let's double check that the background got applied as well. It's really hard to tell with the background, but it says that we do have the background of FEFCFF. Cool. So now there is a couple more things that I do want to throw inside a global CSS. So let's go ahead and let me find all of the colors that I want. So I want to say color -blue. And this is going to be the Twitter blue color. So I think I'm going to say background color. And I should say BG blue, I guess. Or no. Let's see. What do I actually want to do here? I guess we'll say BG blue. And this will be 1D 9BF0. So this is the Twitter blue. And then maybe we'll also just say .color -blue. And then we'll say color : that same color. And I may end up switching all of this to global, or not global components. I might end up switching all of this to styled components. I just haven't used styled components all that much, so that's the reasoning why I haven't really used it. And then we'll also say BG -red. This will be background color. -color red. And then we'll also just do .color -red. And then color red. And then finally, I want a BG gray. .bg gray. And this is going to be kind of like the in-between color. So let me find this one. So gray is going to be background -color : 5 5 3 6 4 7 1. So again, a random color. That's the color gray that they use. .color -gray. And then we're going to say color : and then grab this color. I may change some of this to be styled components. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we'll see. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.